Okay, good evening, everyone. So, to start off, a quick introduction. I am Nikita Deepak, and on behalf of the IMA Christ Student Chapter, I am absolutely delighted to welcome you to day 6 of SATH 2025. So, if you've been with us all week, welcome back. But if today's your first session, let me just give you a quick catch up of SATH and what it is. So, SATH is more than just an acronym, it means together in Hindi, and that reflects the spirit of this series that we've put together. So this year we're celebrating 7 years of BCom Strategic Finance program with around 7 batches, 7 evenings of conversations, 7 essential career skills, and it all began on the 7th of July. So we've talked about everything from cracking Big Four internships to cracking CAT to entering corporate world with the right skills, the right confidence. But tonight we're basically diving into SAT on a completely artistic note because tonight's story isn't just about numbers or resumes. It's actually about heart and passion and talent. It's about the courage to take your creativity seriously and give yourself that credit. So, before we begin, I'd actually like to give a big thanks to the Department of Commerce for their unwavering support and also the IMA Bangalore chapter for their invaluable guidance. So, coming to our speaker this evening is someone who reminds us that entrepreneurship isn't always about a pitch deck or a boardroom. Sometimes it actually starts with a sketchbook, a stall, and a spark of belief. Let me introduce you to today's speaker, Puneet Kaur, founder of Pure Arts, a creative studio that brings mandala art to life by blending mindfulness with artistic expression and creativity. Her journey began right here at Christ. It was at an event that was organized by Udan, the entrepreneurship cell, when she actually decided to put up a small stall showcasing her work and her art. That moment is what changed everything for her, right? And today she isn't here just to share her art and her story, but it's also good to give us that insight and that inspiration, and also to remind all of us that we don't have to wait for things to be perfect, right? We just have to begin. So if you've ever wondered, can passion become profession, this session is just the one for you. Let's give a warm, heartfelt welcome to our speaker for SAT today, Puneet Kaur. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, Nikita. Thank you
Hi.
so much, first of all, for inviting me to this platform.
Of
I'm
course.
so overwhelmed to be a part of, SAT and to be a part of this committee where I was once a part of the hosting committee. Now I'm invited today as a guest speaker. And I just cannot tell you how overwhelmed I am right now. So,
It's a full like 360.
yeah. Thank you so much, Christ University, Department of Commerce, Sunil sir, and IMA. What I am today is all because of all of them. So, to start with my journey and to start with what I am and what I do, I'd like to give you a little heads up that I work at Grant Thornton Advisory Private Limited, where I navigate through the world of numbers, strategy, and problem solving. And then there's another side to my personality where I find peace in colors, patterns, and intricate designs. And that side of my personality is called as pure arts. So, pure arts basically is derived from my name itself, Puneet. Puneet in Hindi and Sanskrit means pure. So, I just played with the spelling and I
That's
just left it
beautiful.
as Pyoor. And I did a little research myself, and in Urdu as well, pure is written as Pyoor if I'm not wrong. So, it just, struck me, and I just named my brand as Pure Arts. So that's how the little journey started. To be precise with my journey was not that fancy, or it was not that mesmerizing, or people would say that I was burning the midnight oils, or I was just standing under you know lamps or something like that. My journey was very simple and mystical, I would say, because just like all the other third year students, I was just done with the my CMA, US CMA, and I was just done with my campus placement. I had just got an offer letter. So I was literally free. And being a Christite, I must say, all of you would agree to the fact that one thing that Christ has taught you is not being free. you know, something or the other just goes on in your life, and you
For
just don't
sure.
like being free. So I had a lot of time to myself, in my third year, because I had, completed every milestone. So that's when it struck me one evening that, let's just start painting, because I was always into art and craft. I was a very good craft student. But over the years, because of studies, because of the parental pressure, I had to leave my passion. And I just started, and within a week itself, I had painted like 5 to 6 big paintings. And my roommate was just after my life that you should start selling. And back then, it was a bizarre idea to me, because who would buy paintings? Why would anybody buy paintings? Because mandala is something that was not that very famous at that point of time. And to me, buying paintings was like Mona Lisa paintings, or if you are aware of Sakshi Khullar, she's a very
Of
good
course.
person, like artist in India. Sakshi Khullar paintings, and I thought that nobody would ever be interested in buying these. So I still remember, and I just kept on painting. I still remember the date. It was 22nd March 2022, when a friend of mine had introduced me to Udan. It is an entrepreneurial cell in Christ. And she said that there were a lot of stalls. She said that a lot of stalls, and she's not able to sell them off. And it's just 3,000 stalls. Puneet, you just give it a try. And I said no. Initially, I said no, I'm not interested. But then I went back home, like my PG, and I discussed this idea with my roommate, and she said you should definitely give it a try. And at that point of time, I didn't have any money, I didn't have finances, I didn't have any resource, because to
Hmm.
to stand up there in a stall, you need a lot of items. You can
For
just not
sure.
sell board with paintings, because nobody would buy that. Youngsters are more interested in bookmarks, keychains, etc., etc. But then within a day itself, I discussed it with my parents, and my father surprisingly was very supportive of it. Very supportive. He said, "You should definitely give it a try." Maybe he was thinking that I try something new, and then my passion would just subside, and I'll just forget about it. He said, "You should definitely try." And that's when I started researching all the suppliers in Bangalore. And to be not a local in Bangalore, it is very difficult to find, you know,
I agree. Yeah.
suppliers there. But mystically, I found them. But and then we had this Easter week holiday, so I had every day to myself to just paint. And that was the week when all my friends were partying, they went out on trips, and I was just sitting back in my PG painting. So but then again, before our stall, I was very scared, and I just prayed to God that if it means something, just give me a signal. So there was this girl at that very point of time. There was this girl, Deepika. I don't know which year, which class. I don't know her. She just came and she bought 2 or 3 stuff, and that's when I realized that yes, I can do this, and all of my stuffs, like all of these things, will be sold out by the end of the day. And
That's so sweet.
all of these things had just reminded me of my hard work, and that's it. After the stall also, I had no idea of pursuing it. I was just happy that I've got all the returns. I was making profit. I had break even very early. I was very happy. But then, just like this session is happening, there was another session happening in our auditorium, big auditorium,
Huh.
and Megha was invited. Meghna, I don't know if you all know her. She was a Christite alumni, and she's a founder of Dream a Dozen. She sells cupcakes
Cupcakes, right?
for
Yeah, yeah.
corporates. So just like today's session, she was giving a session that day how she turned her passion into a corporate big thingy.
I
And
very
that,
vaguely remember that. I mean, I was a first year then, and I think someone came to our class to take that
yeah,
session, right?
no,
Yeah, yeah.
that was
It was in the
maybe
class?
she came to your class, but
Yeah.
back then she was invited to the auditorium.
Mhm.
And her vision, her experience, just gave me confidence that if she can, I can do. And I just didn't want to sell paintings. I wanted to make it as a brand. I just didn't want someone telling me that's a small business owner. She's just an artist. I didn't want that. I wanted it to, have another level of platform. So I just started dreaming. And that's when I had to make the biggest decision of my life, whether or not I have to join the company I've got. I was placed at Deutsche Bank, and the package was really good. Everything was fine. The company was good. But then I had realized that if I want to do something of my own, I have to come back to my hometown, because it would be very difficult for me to be in Bangalore and then run a business. And I just took that decision. Nobody was in the favor of me leaving a big corporate thinking and just to move back. And to be very honest, I was very, very overwhelmed with all these emotions, anxiety. I was not sure if it would work or not. I just came back and I left everything. And for 2 to 3 months I had zero income, and whatever I had earned was draining. Like, I was short on finances, everything, and everything was draining. So that's when I realized that okay, business will take time to pace up and gear up. That's when I joined Grant Thornton. I just gave an interview. I didn't really wanted to join it, but to support my business I needed finances. I didn't want to be a pressure for my parents. So I joined Grant Thornton there. I remember giving the interview and I was thinking back in my mind, God, please don't let me selected. Please don't get me selected, please. But I needed finances as well. So that's how both of the things started, simultaneously. And then in 2023 September, I got the biggest breakthrough from Pure Arts, when a dealer, like, he was actually a hotel owner. He ordered 100 paintings, big paintings, 36 inches, and it's like huge, 100 paintings for his hotel. So that was the breakthrough, and that's when I realized that I can do it both.
That's amazing. 100 is really
100,
amazing.
that was the first time I was dealing with such a big number. Tab tak, I was dealing with like 3 to 4 orders in a month.
Mhm.
I was happy, kind of sad, but that was when I realized, and then there was no looking back. That's when I realized that I have to work in a niche. I What my pricing should be, whether it should be targeted audience, or whether it should be
Mhm.
penetration strategy, or it should be the differentiation strategy. It was all. That's when I realized that I have to start building it. And then
That's
then
amazing.
I'm in the third year of my business, and now I've sold my paintings to US, Bangalore, Bangladesh, South Africa, Canada, Australia, and I'm kind of overwhelmed now. So yes, that's
That's it's so
that's
beautiful
it
to
about
hear. I mean, to be very honest with you, I am an artist as well, and something that I've noticed after coming into Christ is there's no time sometimes to kind of balance a lot of things. But that's also something that I've learned throughout, because first 2 years of Christ, I didn't paint one single painting, and it made me sad when I realized that I hadn't painted in so long. And this year, I've already painted around 5 to 6 already. And
that's
also another thing that I'm so happy that I'm moderating today, when you mentioned Udan, I'm also part of Udan. So it's like two things that I'm kind of connecting with here. So that's it's really nice. So thank you so much for your introduction. I'm sure it helped everybody get to know you a little more.
yeah.
So to keep the energy going, just like yesterday, we're opening the session to everybody who's part of this meeting. So if you would like to ask Puneet a question directly, completely feel free to do so. So you can raise your hand and we can call on your name and you can unmute and ask, or you can also drop your questions in the chat and I'll be asking them for you. So while you take a moment to gather your thoughts, Puneet, we already got some really good questions that came in when we registered, when we opened the registration process. So first off, just like you said, you've built a pretty recognized art brand from it being a small business to now you selling multiple paintings across the world. You're also thriving as a consultant. So how do you balance these two completely different worlds at the moment, and how do you kind of keep yourself grounded at this point?
To be very honest, balancing is something that you'll have to learn. And honestly, it's not easy. And I will not pretend that I have it all figured out every day. There are days that when I cry myself to sleep because my order is not in time or I've got a scolding at office. And there are days when my friends of mine have plans and I just cancel them just because I have to sit back home and paint and have to complete orders or have to manage my team. So one thing that kept me grounded was my vision and a promise to myself that I will not leave either of those things until unless I think that I've achieved something. It was in me, in my heart, that if I've started something, I will prove it to the world that you can balance both. I am not sure if I'm along sometime along the way if I'll be flourishing in either one of them and I'll leave one. I'm pretty sure I'll be leaving corporate only, but not anytime soon as of now. But until and unless I feel that I've done something, I've achieved all the milestones that I have targeted for, I will not leave them. And another thing that kept me grounded was that one gives me structure, the another
Mm-hmm.
one actually fuels my soul. So, my passion is something that I resort to when I'm sad, when I'm, and building a brand, that does not mean that I'm painting all the items. I just make one item and my team members replicate them for the audience. So when I paint for myself now. I don't paint for my audience. Not a lot of people know this, but yeah. So that's what kept me grounded. A promise to myself that you have to do it.
That's amazing. I mean, also connecting to that with what we're facing as a student right now. So it's kind of ironic to see that it does continue and you still have to kind of find that balance on your own, right? I mean,
Exactly.
you it's
Exactly.
me, myself, and I when it comes to keeping yourself grounded. So that's amazing. We have a question in the chat box. So this is from Shruti. What gave you the courage to take that first leap into the unknown? I think she's referring to the art side of you.
Okay. So to be very honest, what was the name? Shruti.
Shruti, yeah.
To be very honest, I was very, very, very confused. But then again, I told you na, that one thing was the stall gave me the confidence that yes, people do buy stuff like this. Second was Meghna's story. And
Mhm.
you just have to find faith in yourself. You just have to convince yourself first. You don't have to convince the world. You will, if you convince yourself, the world will be convinced by your work. So, leaving Bangalore was the toughest decision of my life. And back then, when I was initially starting my business, I did regret it. But now, when I look back, I think it was a blessing and it was the bestest decision that I've ever taken. So, this is something you will have to do on your own. You have to convince yourself first. This is the first thing that you have to do. You have to make an entire plan. I'm telling you, if you're something, if you're someone who's trying to do something of your own, just don't leave without a plan. Don't do it without a plan. I had did a lot of research work. I had to struggle a lot with all the suppliers, and I knew what I was putting myself into. I didn't just do it because I didn't want to, join Dorsey. I just didn't do that. I had a full plan prepared. I convinced myself that yes, I can do it, and that's when I told people, I people may I it's my family, it was my family that I don't want to join Dorsey. And to be very honest, it didn't come easily to them. They didn't realize that what I wanted. With time, when they saw me, that's when they started supporting me. The only person who was supporting me throughout the journey was my father. Everybody else was thinking that she's made the biggest mistake of her life, and they made me realize it every day. But only one person who was with me throughout was my father. And today what I am, it would have been impossible without his support. So yeah, you just have to convince yourself.
That's beautiful. I'm really happy that you had that pillar of support for you, and I
uh,
wish the same for everyone.
One more thing, that pillar of support also came from my from my strength.
Correct.
He didn't let me leave the job just like
Immediately, right?
immediately. He saw that I'm actually willing to work on it. I actually have a plan. So you just have to be ready with everything.
Hmm, that's amazing. Okay, we have another question in the chat box. This is from Johanna. I hope I'm saying that right. How do you take what you've learned in college and actually apply it to building something as ambitious as a college itself?
Okay, one example I would give is the pricing. While doing USCM, I'm not sure if all of you are pursuing it. We had learned something known as cost management and cost budgeting. And while pricing my products, I had put everything into it. And while you don't realize it when you start something, that when your target audience is approaching you, and which type of pricing do you want to keep your prices a little low initially and then high, or that is known as the penetration strategy, pricing strategy, or you just want to keep the prices high initially, and because you have different product. So you all the market study and pricing was what I had already studied. So that was something that I had applied. Secondly, I had applied a lot of skills that I had learned in college. One was the communication skill, second was the time management. So these were the things that I've learned in college and I've applied throughout, and I'm still applying this. It's an everyday learning process.
I mean, I think it's it's so good that you can actually go on to apply something we've learned in theory. I think that kind of gives you more insight into what we learned
And
with
you won't
foundation.
even realize it that you're
Exactly.
applying that. I didn't
Correct.
realize it. It was after I had done all these. The costing was very difficult for me. Calculating my man hours, and then
Exactly.
turning it into a price, and then looking at which strategy. I didn't know that I'd already learned all this.
Also, I
It
think
came
when you talk
naturally.
about, yeah, I think when you talk about art, it's also something a little subjective that way because sometimes there's more effort put into it rather than just the number of hours you're working on it. Because I can
Yes.
tell, because
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
you feel like some things just take much longer than you expect them to because you're putting your complete heart and soul into it. So that
exactly.
makes a lot of sense for sure.
And I had
Um,
to, my speed of making something is different from what my team members now
exactly.
do.
Mhm.
I have a team of 3 people now. It's not that big, but yes,
No,
it
that's
is
still
something.
amazing. Yeah, for
It
sure.
is something. So I have to keep everything in mind, and I have to, have that cushion also for
Hmm.
myself, that if this falls back, I have something to lean on.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next question. This is also something we got through registrations. So, your journey began with a small stall at Udan, and now your art has reached people across the world. So, has being in a structured corporate environment shaped or maybe even strengthened your creative process?
Yes, definitely. Working in a corporate environment has actually helped me. So I told you 3 months when I was not working. I was also not painting. I was not able to paint as well, because there were a lot of thoughts that were hitting me whether I've done the right thing or not. I used to paint for inspiration. I would not say that I was not painting at all. That would
Mhm.
be wrong to say. But the speed, the efficiency was not that great. But when I joined corporate, it brought discipline into my life, that I knew that I have to wake up at this point, this time. I have to work, I have to come back, I have to complete orders, sleep, then work. Like, it's an entire routine. When I was not working and I had not this brand, you know, um, It was just I was waking up at 12. I was sloppy the entire day. I was painting when I wanted to paint. I was not making it as a ritual. Now I've trained myself to be creative on a schedule. You have to make
Mm-hmm.
space for art even during tight timelines. Being consultant has also sharpened my understanding of project management. Budgeting, I've already explained that. And then client communication is something that I've learned it here, like in pure arts first, and then I applied it in corporate. That was vice versa. Not that I first learned it in corporate, then in pure arts. But I'd in fact say my corporate experience has made my art journey more sustainable and scalable. Moreover, I was in corporate, so I knew I take corporate workshops as well now. So I was in corporate earlier, like I myself working in corporate, so I know their environment as well. So I know what can gel well with them, how people want to, be when they want to relax. You cannot just go and tell people just paint, or just pour your heart out. Everybody will slap you because they're already frustrated working 9 to 5, or even 9 to 10 these days, how MNCs are. So nobody will actually give you heed. So you have to have that in yourself, and you have to know what they're going through to actually, you know um, uh, how do I tell them how to endure them, ki aap, just to act it as a bait. So my
Right.
experience in corporate actually helped me with the corporate workshops.
Okay, that's great. I mean, if I were asking you that question, I think it's very valid because you kind of can't connect how corporate would help you with your creative sphere. Also, I mean, I think there's a personal question of my own. I think, would you find it like pretty tough trying to schedule your creativity? Because sometimes we go through art block, which is, it's kind of a slump that you can't get out of. So it's kind of like a connection to this question.
Yeah, exactly. It happens. So uh, at pure arts, you're not just you know just working. You're
Mm-hmm.
doing other stuff as well. I'm doing everything: branding, packing, taking care of my team, managing their. So when I'm dealing through art block, and I know I have orders in, so I just instruct my team members that all of
Mm-hmm.
this has to be done in within this timeline. I take care of the other responsibilities of pure arts at that point of time. And yes, it is very difficult. You have to manage. For me, the days start a bit earlier and it ends a little late. You have to start saying no to your friends, and by the end of the day, you'll be left with no friends because apparently you would have said no to all the outings, and eventually they'll stop calling you, they'll stop inviting you. And to be very honest, in college, I didn't have that many friends, so that was not an issue there. But now, when I'm in corporate, you cannot actually say no to all the events, but you have to start learning to say no there to the events. Then you have to prioritize all the things. You have to take time out. It's like a medicine. You have to eat it, right? You have to do it.
Correct.
And once you've started something, then there's no going back. You've taken money from the client, you have to deliver
Mm-hmm.
it on the set date. You will push yourself to do it.
So in
Okay,
the end, it's
so
like a mindset that you actually kind of
it's
develop through the
actually a
process.
mindset. If
Right.
you are determined, you will do it.
That's okay. Moving on to the next question. So Pratna asks, how do you balance the business side with the creative side of your work? I think that's connected to the first question that we asked earlier.
So it was very difficult initially, and after 2 to 3 years, I realized that I've become so much into business that I have lost the creativity spark in me, and why I had started this initially to find peace, etc., etc. So that's when I realized that I let others replicate my work. My team members will replicate my work, and I'll just make my own samples that give me peace. Okay, while painting, you can chant, you can sing, you can do whatever you want to, and the business side is balanced by the team members. they can replicate. Okay, so if you get an order of 100 paintings and five of them, they're like 10 different paintings, and 10 duplicates of them. So that you cannot, others can actually copy your work, right? You just have to prepare the 10 different patterns. That is what I do now, and
Mm-hmm.
others just replicate. That's how I manage business and the creative side. And I don't say no to any custom order, which is teaching me something. If there is something that a client wants, and every client will give you some or the other new idea, and that's for sure. Okay, so I don't say no to a single client. I never say no. If it's teaching me something, I definitely dive into it.
That's
So
perfect. Mm-hmm.
you learn all of this once it started. It's a learning process throughout. It's a learning curve. You learn.
Okay. We move on to the next question. So, Johns asks, a lot of people with commerce or engineering backgrounds often find ways to apply their skills in creative spaces, like yourself, storytelling, design, thinking. So, have there been moments in your corporate journey where you had to tap into your creative side to approach a problem?
Yeah, yeah. When I had initially started Pure Arts, I didn't have a proper medium of transporting the stuff. So my orders used to get delayed. So you cannot directly tell your customers that your order has been delayed because of my inability to,
Correct. Mhm.
post them. You have to come up with a very creative excuse. Okay. Um, and that excuse should be manipulative in a way that it is a solution to your problem. For example, you have to tell them that it is already posted by DTDC. It will take 2 to 3 days to reach to your hometown, and they will then decide, like whatever XYZ excuse. So that's when it hit me. I was managing. Now I'm a reviewer. I'm at a reviewer level. So at a consultant role, what happens is that the client will, budge you each and every time. Why is it not done? Why is it not done? You cannot just start screaming at the client. Okay, and you cannot just tell the client at corporates as well that this cannot be done at a very short timeline. My team is not ready to do it. Please do it yourself. You cannot say like this. So you have to come up with a plan. This will be done by this date, and whatever you are saying, that it's very stringent. So what I do is I just tell them that this will be done. I hand it over to them, so I know that this buys me time to do the rest of the work. So this was something that I had learned from Pure Arts, that you cannot just directly say no to the client. You have to be manipulative, and you have to come up with a solution first. If you're facing a problem, come up with a solution first and present it in a way that the client himself think that it was his fault. Okay, so that's what I've realized, and I think I should not be openly telling this
It's okay,
because
guys.
a lot
Please
of
take that with a pinch of salt, please. In the right
but
context.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this is something I think a lot of corporate people should know, and you yourself will join corporates in no time. So this is something that you should actually definitely learn.
Said
So
work smarter, not harder sometimes, right? Using a
exactly.
little bit of your other side of your brain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And sometimes what happens is, just numbers don't work.
Hmm.
When you're presenting, just numbers don't work. Your creativity also works. You have to, supposedly there's a presentation. If it doesn't look nice, nobody will pay attention. Okay.
Yep,
So if you have to present something, be creative in that manner. I think that Christ must have also taught you how to make presentations
for sure.
memorable.
Yep.
But to work on Canva and to actually paint are two different things. But this is also something that you have to learn throughout.
So the next question, we have two questions from Rishabh. So first, looking back, is there something you would have done differently or would recommend us to do differently when switching from corporate to a new creative side of the world?
Okay, yes, definitely. Looking back, when I had initially started, my whole focus was money and
Hmm.
not the quality. Udan was an example. I just focused on cost cutting. I thought that buying, cheaper raw material would work, but that does not work in long run. Okay, and you have to have a great quality. You have to learn new skills, and I think that applies both in corporate as well. Okay, just don't run after money, run after skills first. If you have the skills, they'll definitely pay
It
you
follows, yeah.
much higher. This helped me later. Why? Because one, I had gained skills, so now my clients are willing to pay me whatever amount I charge them. I price them, because they know that her work is fine and her quality is good. But if I had continued with the cheaper quality products, in no time, no repeat customers would have ordered. Okay, and if I go ahead with the same thinking in corporate as well, I had joined Grant Thornton at a very low price. No, like whatever my friends were earning, they were earning really good. My package was not that great back at that point of time, but because I had skills, I was a graduate from Christ University. I had done my USMA. Within 6 months, they increased my pay scale. After the probation period, they increased my pay scale. Your work speaks for yourself. So, just dive into learning a lot of skills. If even if it is a creative world, there are a lot of skills. I might not, even if it's a stand-up comedy, there are other skills that you have to learn. And creative world is not just about art, it's about music, it's about dance and everything else. So enhancement of your skills and the quality of your work should be the top notch priority, not the money initially.
I think that also kind of lends into the fact that you need to be confident in yourself that you can deliver whatever that they, ask of you maybe. Because I think in the creative field, sometimes it's very easy to get underconfident, in the context of yourself. So I think what you're saying is, upskill before you get impatient about, more of the quantitative part of things, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A quantitative part of the process is actually very important, but initially work on the qualitative part.
Right.
Work on the qualitative part. Qualitative part will fetch you quantitative benefits in no time. I'm telling you, this was my personal experience. And another experience was that I was very unsure of everything. I kept blaming myself, I kept self doubting, and that delayed my process. If I had
Mm-hmm.
not delayed those things, if I had
Yeah.
confidence, like I knew that I would be able to do something. But there's that the self doubt, there's always self doubt that actually pulls you down. You're not able to present yourself well. It took me 3 years to actually tell people proudly that I'm doing this side by side. Although I was, to be very honest, earning really well from my business, even more than what I was earning from what I'm earning right now from my corporate in a
Right.
month. That's just in a month. So, but still, I was underconfident about myself. Okay, I knew I would be able to achieve all the heights, but even after achieving those milestones, I was underconfident. I'm not sure if I'm putting it in a correct way,
No, of
or
course. I
I'm
think we get,
you're able
yeah,
to
for
get
sure.
my. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're almost at 7:45, so we'll be closing. One last question. If, okay, we have Anshika. Anshika?
Hi, Puneet.
Hi, Anshika.
I would like to thank you because you just motivated me to pick up my crocheting again.
Sure, please
I
do
was
that.
in a very big slump, so now I'm starting it again, and thank you for
Uh,
that.
Thank you so much. If I was able to motivate even a single person to start their passion, because that work was done by Meghna for me. And I'm really grateful that you said that today.
That's so sweet. I think also
Nikita,
me and
I'd like to
Swallow.
answer Rishab's other question as well. Some clients have a very strange request. If that's okay.
I think we're running a little tight on
Okay,
time.
that's
No,
So,
let her answer that.
okay, sure, definitely.
if there's something not doable about a project, you don't just say no. Present them the other thing that would be, feasible in your budget, and tell them that this would be better. Be again manipulative in your ways, in your words, that the other thing would be better, that would suit you better. Show them graphics, pictures, posters of the work, that see, just present the other thing. How your mind works when you see a lot of, even in Instagram algorithm, when you see a thing 5 times, you know that this is a good quality thing, right? And this is the best thing. So you have to just send those things again and again to that client, that this is not that great. If you want this, the other thing that you can do is better. So that's how you manage requests. Again, don't say no, be manipulative. So that's what I do.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so I think one last question that I have for you, Puneet, is if you had to leave us with one line of advice, what would it be?
Just start. Don't wait for the right time. There's no right time. There will always be excuses. Just start small. It's okay if you have burnouts. It's okay to cry, but just start. Don't wait for others to give you the validation. Give validation to yourself and just start. Once you've started, people will start acknowledging your work. People will start gaining confidence in you. Start small and then build yourself every day. If you start working on yourself every day, even if you work on your one thing, see, by the end of the year you must have achieved, milestones. So
That's great.
just start. Don't wait for others to tell you to, or don't wait, अच्छा exams khatam ho jayenge then I'll start, or when I'll have money I'll start, when I'll have time I'll start. You will never have time. Once you've joined corporate, you'll never have time. Once you've And this is the right time to start, when you're in Christ. All your focus would be either on studying or on your business, no other stuff. But when you're in corporate, you have this or you're when you start earning, you have this peer pressure of saving, spending, living the Pinteresty lifestyle, the Instagrammable lifestyle, and then you see your friends. This is the right time to start. When you're in college, you'll get all the guidance in the world you need. Everybody will be very helpful, and you are very lucky to be in Christ, where each and every platform is very approachable to you.
Mhm.
So just start.
That's so inspiring. Thank you so much for that. And with that note, we're going to be wrapping up today's session, but something really exciting coming. So, tomorrow we'll be actually hosting a Sath trivia. So, right after tomorrow's session, we're going to be hosting this trivia. It's not just going to be interesting, it's actually going to be fun and actually pretty competitive. And there's also going to be prizes waiting for the winner. So, please stay tuned for that because I mean, I'm excited. Please mark your calendar, stay tuned. So make sure to stick till the very end of Sath. We're going to be sending you a link for this. So now I'd just like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude. So a big thank you to the Department of Commerce, Christ University, um, for their everlasting, unwavering support, encouragement, and belief in student-led initiatives like SAT that we've organized. And we also extend our sincere appreciation to the IMA Bangalore chapter for their continuous mentorship, and of course to our guiding light, our faculty coordinator, Dr. Sunil MP. So, Sath, I think as we all witnessed just now, it's not just a speaker series, it's a space where alumni, achievers, and students like us come together to learn, share, and grow together. And that's only possible because of institutions and individuals who believe in the power of learning together. So, before you go, we'd love all of your help in making Sath even better. we've shared a quick feedback form in the chat. So please take a minute to fill it in, and it's going to really help us out to improve and bring you sessions like this that matter and that'll help us grow even further. So, giving you a quick glimpse into what's coming up tomorrow. So, I have a quick question for all of you. Is it possible that you've had that question of how do you turn a good placement into a game-changing one? So tomorrow we'll actually be joined by Chris Nelson, who is a corporate finance associate in KPMG Lower Gulf. So he's redefining what it means to be in the corporate world. So stay tuned for the last day of Saath tomorrow. It's going to be equal parts insightful and inspiring. So trust me, you do not want to miss it. Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep showing up for yourself. Good night, and thank you so much for tuning in today.